Welcome to the Looking Glass. Would you like to see who you are meant to be? The Looking Glass is an alchemical art technique. It is the original scripture. It's called scrying. And in this technique, we can see the past, the present, and possibly the future. We don't always have control over what is seen, but what is seen is meant to be revealed. And what is being revealed is something so fantastic, I have a hard time getting my words together. An ancient goddess is speaking to us, and this ancient goddess came from the blueprint of Jamie's soul. Like the Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail, it's as if ancient gods or goddesses are our future selves, not the past self. I don't know how it works. Seems to be working that way. So Jamie, you are at 12 o'clock. You have a large flame above your head. Tears are falling into a looking glass that is inside a tree that has been cut. This is a suggestion or a symbol to you that something has been cut from humanity. Maybe our DNA. Maybe when Adam was cut into Eve, or Eve was cut from Adam, we were cut. Maybe we had an animal that was constantly with us, like the golden compass, and that was cut from us. Regardless, these trees being cut reflect that we were cut. The face inside the tree is a woman, like a goddess. Her name is LAUMA. She comes from this energy of a star. It's connected to Christ and the cross reflecting a tree. There are fairies and elves and gnomes on the left side. The second piece reflects a flame and a mask and a rainbow. Notice your breasts in the water. Notice the heart leaking out living waters into like a baptismal pool. The looking glass and you being inside the looking glass. And if you are inside the looking glass, which is inside a tree, it's kind of saying that you are a tree ent, like the Lord of the Rings, the lost ent wives. But it is actually more precise than that. Spirit told me exactly who you are going to become and who you were. I'm not sure which timeline we're working on here, and I'm going to help you apply it to your current life. So let's begin by studying these ancient goddesses, and let's not try to put too many labels on it, because honestly I don't know. I've never heard of this goddess LAUMA before, but she is a fairy-like woodland spirit, a guardian spirit of orphans in the Eastern Baltic mythology. Originally a sky spirit, her compassion for human suffering brought her to Earth to share our fate. Almost like wanting to help us in some way, felt pity for us and our suffering. And you do seem to have that energy, come to think of it. So the Laumes are the very oldest goddesses in the Lithuanian mythology. The image of these goddesses may have formed during the historical Mesolithic period, just after the Ice Age. Laumes could appear in the form of animals as mares or as female goats, bears, and dogs. You do have a bear in your piece. Later, Laumes had an anthropomorphic appearance. They usually had bird's claws for feet and appeared as women with the head or lower body of a female goat. Other forms included half human, half dog, half mare, similar to centaurs. Like Cyclops, Laumes often had only one eye. They also had large breasts with stone nipples. Pieces of Alamnidida found on the ground were called Laume nipples. Okay, I know that sounds weird. But they were originally like atmospheric goddesses. Very beautiful goddesses who lived in the clouds and had a diamond throne. Some myths claimed that Laume was a bride of thunder god Percunus. They did not marry because Lume fell in love with the moon, who was considered a male god in Lithuania. She has a moonshine. In another myth, the bride of Percunus was a LAUMA called Veve. The rainbow was called the ribbon of Veve. Now you have that letter V, you have the rainbow, you have the breasts, you have all the symbols. During the rain, Stablis stretched the ribbon of Vave across the sky. It was believed it is the rainbow that causes the rain, while the Luthanian shepherds had a prayer or curse by which the rainbow had to turn to pieces and make the rain go away. There was another myth about a little boy, a son. So this goddess descended from the sky to breastfeed her son from time to time. And this son was the embodiment of love. And a god cut LAUMA's breasts, and her breasts turned to pieces of stone upon the earth. This reminds me of Saint Agatha. Her breasts were cut off for Christ. LAUMAs descended from the sky to earth. They lived nearby lakes, abandoned bathhouses, and islands of lakes or dense forests. Many names of water pools in Luthania are named after the word LAUMA, so they are the looking glass. You are the embodiment of the looking glass itself. You are the looking glass. You're the water of the looking glass. How does this happen? So that's why you're connected to the rainbow and the moon, because it's all about a reflection in the water. Wow. So you're connected to fairy rings. LAUMA's song was traditionally performed during weddings up until the 19th century. The song was performed by girls. The LAUMAs were always naked or wearing very fine clothing. The rainbow was often called a ribbon, lost by LAUMAs. The LAUMAs usually appeared in groups of 3. Yes, of course. They loved children, respect industriousness, and help those in need. They punish those who ridicule them and those who are lazy. Following are 2 example folk tales featuring LAUMAs. Yes, that's why you're wearing the mask, because there's something inside your DNA that is kind of hiding. Maybe it hasn't come to your awareness, but you're ruthless with people who are jerks to children or animals or the earth. You kind of can destroy them. The story goes that a woman was harvesting a flower bed and had taken her child with her. She was so busy with her work that the child slept through the day, and she left the little one behind. She forgot her son. She ran as fast as she could to the place where she left her son, and she found a mother or a fairy. And the fairy said, Come, dear woman, take your child. We have done nothing to him. We know that you work very hard at many jobs and that you didn't want to leave your child behind. Keep in mind that the child could reflect a planet and a shift in reality, or like the age of Pisces or Aquarius. It's not a literal story about a child. The fairies then went on to shower the babe with much treasure, enough gifts to raise several children upon. The mother went home with her precious baby and with her gifts, and she was greeted with joy. Another woman, hearing of her good fortune, was taken over by jealousy. She took to thinking, I shall do the same as her, and also be showered with gifts. So this woman took and purposely left her child. When she approached the field, she heard the fairies, Chululia, Chululia, you left your child in greed. And the child screamed with such great pain, for he was pinched and tortured mercilessly. And so the story is that LAUMA would come to a window and would yell, hundreds born, hundreds died. What of his fate? And they would answer back, birth at night, death at night. And then the next, birth in the morning, death in the morning. Birth in the afternoon, death in the afternoon. This reflects that some of us are born in the moon energy, some are born in the sun, and some are born in the earth. The 3 main energies that surround all of us are the sun, the moon, and the earth. These are the 3 sisters and the 3 energies that we're talking about here. Now, we're also going to talk about the 8th flame, because this is also in your piece. Kuchi Manitou, grandfather, look at our brokenness. We know that in all creation, only the human family has strayed from the sacred way. We know that we are the ones who are divided, and we are the ones who must come back together to walk the sacred way. Grandfather, O Sacred One, teach us love, compassion, and honor, that we may heal the earth and heal each other. The Seven Fires Prophecy. This is a Ojibwe prayer. 7 prophets came, and they came at a time when the people were living a full and peaceful life in North America. These prophets left the people with 7 predictions about what the future would bring. Each of the prophecies were called a fire, and these fires were referred to as a particular era of time that would come in the future. One of the prophets had a strange light in their eyes. And I noticed in your piece that Archon had eyes made of light. In the time of the 7th fire, new people will emerge. They will retrace their steps to find what was left behind, the trail. Their steps will lead them to the elders, who they will ask to guide them on their journey. But many of the elders had fallen asleep. The new people, if they will remain strong in their quest, the water drum of the Midwind Lodge will again sound its voice. There will be a rebirth of the nation and a rekindling of old flames. The sacred fire will again be lit. It is this time that the light-skinned race will be given a choice between 2 roads. If they choose the right road, then the 7th fire will light the 8th and final fire, an eternal fire of peace, love, brotherhood, and sisterhood. If the light-skinned race makes the wrong choice of the roads, then the destination which they brought with them in coming to this country will come back at them and cause them much suffering and death to all the earth's people. So the 2 roads that the light-skinned race will face is one road that leads to technology and the other road to spiritualism. The road to technology represents a continuation of headlong rush to technological development. This is the road that has led to modern society, to a damaged and seared earth. One road leads to a scorching earth on fire, and the other leads to peace and prosperity, connection and joy. But I do not see the light beings at 1 o'clock as the elders with eyes of light because of the laughing hyena. I see archons that send people to a lower realm. And you have the 8th flame on your head, and your energy ignites the flame onto others. But there are energies warning us that that flame can be taken away if we do not choose spirituality and remembering that everything in our outer reality is part of ourselves. And that's what the allegory of Jesus on the cross or carrying the cross is. That when we are on the cross, we take on the sins of the world. And everyone is us. And there is a connection between animal suffering, the suffering of earth, and the suffering of each other. And how we are all on the cross, taking each other's sins on and suffering because of it. But if we choose spirituality and awakening, authenticity and truth over lies, if we choose love over selfishness, then the future will be beautiful, and that we will go to a new earth, a place of magic and fairies, and bouncing our consciousness from one body to the next. There will be no difference between you or me, and that is the symbol of the tree being cut off. Our ability to see through each other's eyes and become each other was cut. So the looking glass is looking into not only your mind, but the mind of the collective. It's strange how your energy is also connected to the Christ energy, because Christ said, living waters will pour from my heart, and you have living waters pouring from your heart. The 7 elders reflects the 7 colors of the rainbow. The mask that you're wearing reflects that human beings must become authentic, but also that we must become warriors of the eighth flame and fight for spirituality against technology and selfishness. We must hear with our ears the voice of spirit and the divine voice of the prophets and the elders, the ascended masters. When the goddess LAUMA said that she had only one eye, that is what we're seeing in your piece. You have only one eye showing. So that energy of LAUMA is still there with you. All of us go through a baptism of water, whether we are religious or not. It is part of a natural spiritual growth. And then we go through the baptism of fire. This is the fire of truth and the diminishing of our ego. We begin to melt back into a collective consciousness and regain our natural powers, telepathy, astral travel, and a divine voice that leads us to miraculous concepts, worlds, and relationships. Please investigate some of these symbolisms yourself as Spirit wants to talk to you. My name is Mary Moses. If you would like a reading, go to forestfairy.com.